Hi. So, for our next little grammar section, we are going to be kind of reviewing because I feel like we've talked about these before, but we're going to hone in on compound and complex sentences. So, let's backtrack a little bit. Let's go over again. Sentence is an independent clause. Remember, it's a subject, a verb, and it's a complete thought. So, we have Robert excels in the classroom. We got Robert's my subject. What does he do? He excels. This is the most basic sentence. Remember, this is called a simple sentence. But if you take two of those simple sentences, Robert is not a great athlete, comma, but he excels in the classroom. We got a subject verb here and a subject verb here. This is called a compound sentence. And in this case, we have a little connection with the comma and the but. Let's talk more about those connections, if you will. So here we go. Recap. Compound sentences. Two independent clauses joined together is a compound sentence. Most of the time, you see them joined with coordinated conjunctions called fanboys. And you know these fanboys, you've seen them before. So we have for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. And remember, the comma always goes in front, always, never behind. Never do that. It's always in front of the coordinated conjunction. Or you can connect them with something else called a semicolon. Semicolons can also connect sentences like, there it is. That's that little thing. It's like a comma with a period on top. I never say that. It's called a semicolon. Okay. So let's take a look at some examples here. We have this sentence: Joe is the best player on the team, but he doesn't play well under pressure. Poor Joe. So let's take a look. We got an independent clause here. Joe is. Another one here. He doesn't play well under pressure. Uh-oh, here we go. We have a connection with a comma and a but. That is a compound sentence. Let's look at another one. There sat the book. Susan grabbed it and ran. We have an independent clause. There sat the book. Susan grabbed it and ran. And in this case, we have a connection of that semicolon all by itself. That's all you need. One more example. Gary was very tired, but he continued to fight. Gary was, that's my subject verb. He continued is my subject verb in the second independent clause. And again, we have a comma and a but. Those are compound sentences. Let's switch it now and talk complex. Again, this should be review because we've talked about complex sentences before. But remember, complex sentences have two parts, a dependent clause and an independent clause. So we have Robert excels in the classroom. There's Robert again. That's my independent clause. There's my subject and my verb. And I have a dependent clause starting it off. I know it's dependent because it's starting with an awubis word. And if the dependent clause is coming first, got to have that comma. Got to right there. But you could also flip it. So here we're going to go. Robert excels in the classroom because he regularly studies. Now I got my subject and my verb coming first. That's my independent clause coming first. And then I have my awubis following. Now the dependent clause is second. No comma. Again, no comma needed if the dependent clause comes second. And these are called complex sentences. So let's get started. Let's do some practice.